ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्य उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी Reading from Canto 5, titled The Creative Impetus, chapter number 3, titled Rishabhadev's Appearance, verse number 19. I will just recite this verse. Shri Shuka Uvacha. Please don't repeat. Iti nisham yantya merudevyah pati abhidhayan tardhe bhagavan. What word meanings? Shri Shuka Uvacha. Shri Shukdev Goswami said. Iti, thus. Nisham Yantyah, who was listening. Meru Devyah, in the presence of Meru Devi. Patim, unto her husband. Abhidhaya, having spoken. Antardadhe, disappeared. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of God. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. Shukdev Goswami continued. After saying this, the Lord disappeared. The wife of King Nabhi, Queen Meru Devi, was sitting by the side of her husband, and consequently she could hear everything the Supreme Lord had spoken. According to the Vedic injunctions, purport. According to the Vedic injunctions, one should perform sacrifices in the company of one's wife. Sapatniko dharmam acharet. Religious rituals should be performed with one's wife. Therefore, Maharaj Nabhi conducted his great sacrifice with his wife by his side. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshuronmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhuvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langhayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Harihi Om Tatsat. Hare Krishna. Sukdev Goswami continued. After saying this, the Lord disappeared. The wife of King Nabhi, Queen Meru Devi, was sitting by the side of her husband, and consequently she could hear everything the Supreme Lord had spoken. So we see in the previous verse, the Supreme Lord is telling, since I cannot find anyone equal to me, I shall personally expand myself into a plenary portion, and thus advent myself in the womb of Meru Devi, the wife of Maharaj Nabhi, the son of Arjunasakha. And after saying this, the Lord disappeared. However, in today's verse, some important aspects have been highlighted. But even before I start speaking, I seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas so that I can glorify Guru and Gauranga through this verse. So, in this verse, we are seeing the Lord comes on the right time and then leaves on the right time. And the importance of Sapatniko Dharmam Acharayat is being highlighted here. Srila Prabhupada is saying, according to Vedic injunctions, one should perform sacrifices in the company of one's own wife. Therefore, Maharaj Nabhi conducted his great sacrifice by his wife, with his wife by his side. Now, even Lord Ram did this. After the separation of Mother Sita and Lord Ram had happened, when Mother Sita had left for the forest while she was pregnant. And after, I think even after Love Kush were born, Lord Ram decided to do a great Rajasuya Yajna. And there also this principle of Sapatniko Dharmam Acharayat was valid. So everybody was suggesting Lord Ram that, see, without wife, it is difficult to perform a Rajasuya Yajna. So why don't you marry one more wife? Dashrath Maharaj had 300 wives. So they were saying that your father had 300 wives, you also take one more wife. But Lord Ram said, no, I cannot take another wife. So find out some other way. We do not want to do something which is not Vedic, but at the same time this sacrifice should continue. So they found a process by which they made a deity of Mother Sita, which was exactly looking like Mother Sita, out of gold. And Lord Ram placed the deity of Mother Sita on his right and sat down, and in that way, in a religious way, he performed the Rajasuya Yajna. Yadyad acharati shreshthas tat tad evataro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokas tad anuvartate. Whatever activities a great man performed, the common public follows. So this is the essence of Grihastha life. That husband and wife should be engaged in Vedic life. Vedic Varnashram life. The wife is not just meant for enjoyment. That okay, I have got married, so I have this license for engaging in sense gratification. That's all. That is not the Vedic culture. That is rather some other culture where they restrict the wife, keep the wife always as a sense object in the house. Outside only the males will go. Vedic society is very strict actually. Generally, a woman before her marriage was not to be seen in public also. When Mother Sita had, when King Ravana had been killed, and Lord Ram had asked for Mother Sita to come from the Ashok Vatika. So at that time, all the monkeys wanted to see Mother Sita. So immediately, people commented that she is a royal queen. How can the common public see her? The Lord Ram said that in the situation of a war, or in the situation of a natural calamity, or in the situation of fire, it is okay if the women of the house are seen by common public. So that was the level of strictness of the Vedic society. But even in such a Vedic society, such a wife, such a chaste woman is allowed to sit in the public and be seen by everybody just to set the right example. So Vedic society doesn't mean that just keep the woman as a sense object in the house and everything else outside will be, shown off and done by the males. No. The Vedic society sets a standard that whatever important activities you do in the Vedic world, the wife gets the credit, the wife has a share, and the wife has a responsibility to come and join. All this is being done just to show that wife is not just meant for sense enjoyment. Wife is meant for becoming a progressive ladder in the spiritual life. So husband and wife should stay together for the purpose of advancement in Krishna consciousness. If that is not done, then a lot of problems will happen. Generally, in every Vedic sacrifice, the wife sits on the right. But when we see in the altar, the energy or the consort of the Lord is always on the left of the Lord. So dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitham. Whatever the Lord does, that is dharma. So one can argue, the Lord keeps his consort on the left, so I will also keep the consort on the left. But this is wrong. The Lord is the supreme enjoyer, and he enjoys his consort. And his consort likes this situation. But the Jivatma or the Jivatattva is not an enjoyer. So he has to keep his wife to his right, just to make a difference between him and the Lord. The Lord, Lakshmi Narasimhadev, Lakshmi Ji will always sit on the left thigh of Narasimhadev. She will always be on the left side. Radharani will be left side. Lakshmi Ji will be left side. Because the Lord is the supreme enjoyer. But the Jiv Tattva is not the supreme enjoyer. That's why in all the Vedic ceremonies he keeps the wife on the right, just to show that I am not the supreme enjoyer. In fact, I am here with my wife to practice spiritual life, and the Vedic ceremonies are going on. And that this is a very public statement, very strong statement. Once Srila Prabhupada was asked by one of his disciples that how we are husband and wife, Srila Prabhupada, how much intimacy I should practice with my wife. So Srila Prabhupada said that husband and wife should go out in the balcony of the house and then they should shout, if there is anyone hungry, please come. If there is anyone hungry, please come. And like that, another time, 3 times they should say. And if there is anybody hungry, then they should allow them to the house and serve them. If there is no one hungry, then they should sit together and eat. And that is their intimacy. Basically, Srila Prabhupada was telling that Grihastha ashram is meant for serving the other 3 ashrams, the Brahmachari ashram, the Sannyas ashram and the Vanaprastha ashram. These ashrams have to be taken care by the Grihasthas. So life of a husband and wife has to be, or rather this infatuation or the physical intimacy has to be transcended by serving the whole world as Grihasthas. Serve the brahmacharis, serve the sannyasis, serve the vanaprasthas, serve the children, serve the old men, serve the cows, serve the whole world has to be served, and in that way the physical intimacy has to be transcended and a spiritual intimacy has to be created. Only in such an environment the wife does not look upon the husband as a source of or a wish fulfilling tree, that whatever I desire husband will give. And only in such an environment, the husband will also not look at the wife as a sense object. So this is the Krishna conscious culture. And Vedic married life. One of my friends was sharing a joke with me. This is another aspect of Vedic married life. He was sharing a joke with me. He was walking with his father, in the morning walk, he was walking with his father in his park, and he expressed to his father that, Papa, I think it's time I should get married. So his father told him, what did you say? You idiot. How dare you say this? Don't you know that you are talking to your father? Marriage? But the son was not in the problem. But what's the problem? I should, rather than bringing someone in the house and showing this is she, I'm asking you and I'm telling you, you only arrange. What's the problem? So you are an idiot. You don't know what is good, what is bad. You have to immediately apologize for what you've done. But Papa, I don't understand what I'm doing. What mistake I've done. I don't care whether you understand or not. If you do not apologize immediately right now, I will not see your face. The son said, okay, Papa, I'm very, very sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I don't know what I've done, but I'm really, really sorry. Then his father told, now you're ready for married life. If you are ready to apologize even without understanding what is your fault, that is called stable married life, Vedic married life. Otherwise, divorce will happen. And his father, he was sharing that, yes, my father taught me a very important lesson. Especially in Kali Yuga, it is very difficult for marriages to prevail. The husband is not upright and a servant of Guru and Krishna, and the wife is not most of the times obedient and loyal. So such kind of adjustments are very necessary in married life, so that we can follow these Vedic customs. Otherwise, somebody is doing some yajna and wife is angry. She's not coming only. And the whole society is seeing, his wife nahi aa raha hai. Kuch to problem hai. So that should not happen. So one should know how to get along. So these are some of the thoughts. However, another very, very important spiritual aspect is hidden as a gem in this verse. The wife of King Nabhi. So Supreme Lord was talking to Ritviks and Maharaj Nabhi. Supreme Lord did not address Merudevi. Only thing he said that I will advent myself in the womb of Merudevi. But he did not talk to Merudevi. And it is mentioned, it is for our consideration and realization, that the wife of King Nabhi, Queen Merudevi, was sitting by the side of her husband, and consequently she could hear everything which the Supreme Lord had spoken. This means simply by serving a devotee of the Lord, one can directly hear the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even if one is there in the Papa Yoniya. Papa Yoniya means, materially speaking, those who are born in a less advantageous material body, such as Vaishyas, Shudras, Chandalas, and Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, puts women also in this category. We recently heard that anybody who is less spiritually intelligent is more or less in this Papa category. So because the emotion of the women covers their intelligence most of the time, so therefore they also come in this category. They are these Vaishyas, Shudras, Chandalas and others, they are very body conscious. They don't know anything beyond their body. So King Nabhi was a great man. He was a devotee of the Lord. He was performing great sacrifices. He was making various arrangements, and he developed this desire of having having the Lord as the son. His wife, simply by being an obedient, loyal wife of her husband, became so qualified that now she is seeing the Supreme Personality face to face, and she is able to hear everything. So therefore, wife or a serious, sincere disciple gets a lot of advantages via the husband or the guru. Especially in the case of wife. Whatever the husband does, the wife gets the spiritual credit provided she is ready to receive. For example, this is the best example, Merudevi. King Nabhi has performed such great sacrifice, he has developed devotion for the Lord, and the Lord has come there just to appease them. Later on in the verses we will see that the Lord wanted to highlight how to do a proper ritualistic yajna. And he used the Ritviks and the Maharaj Nabhi to set an example for the whole world that how to do a sacrifice ritual properly. And then when that happened, out of pleasure and out of the sincere desire of Maharaj Nabhi, he appeared. Although the wife was not a part of all this, she may have come and just sat on the Vedic arena. But because she was sincerely serving, she got all the credit. So wife gets spiritual credits. Similarly, the disciple also inherits the spiritual wealth from the spiritual master. That is the only inheritance of a disciple. A disciple should also try to understand what is the mood of Guru, try to meditate on it, and try to serve him. And that way, one gets the same spiritual wealth as that of the Guru. Srila Prabhupada often said that if you do what I am saying, then I will take you back home, back to God. Now, Srila Prabhupada has achieved the back home, back to Godhead position. But if the sincere disciples, if they just follow and serve the Guru, they will achieve the same spiritual wealth as Srila Prabhupada has received. His spiritual wealth is Krishna. And because we are serving, or we are trying to sincerely, seriously and gratefully serve a person who has Krishna, we will also get Krishna. This is the result of divine association. And this happens, see, any relationship becomes favorable when people hear each other in that relationship. This is called as the art of reflective listening. Whether there are two brothers, they should reflectively hear each other. Similarly, husband and wife, they should reflectively hear each other. Similarly, guru disciple, the disciple should reflectively hear each other. Even the guru should also reflectively hear. We see so many things Arjuna is speaking in the Bhagavad Gita and Krishna is hearing. And accordingly he is responding. He never said, hey, stop this question only, stupid. Stop this question, I will tell you what you need to do. No. Reflective listening. After saying so much, Arjuna is coming up with a question. Similarly in Bhagavatam we see, both in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, the questions are also not very streamlined. You see Lord Krishna is saying something, Shukdev Goswami is saying something, but the question is little, it takes us in a different direction. It's not that the person who is asking questions is making sure that they are not going outside the subject matter of discussion. So, the gurus or the teachers, they have to practice reflective listening. And when we practice this reflective listening from the right source, then everything becomes proper. So, association of pure devotees in an environment of reflective listening can liberate anyone. We see the example of Meru Devi here. She got liberated because she was hearing her husband, she was hearing the Vedic mantras being chanted, and now she is hearing the Lord. So similarly, if we also hear from pure devotees, we can also, at least all of you are already elevated, I can also get elevated. So therefore we have to serve people by reflectively hearing from them. And of course we have to hear from the right sources. There's no point of hearing from somebody who is not a Vaishnava. Shravanam naiva kartavyam utam harikathamam. So it is not our duty to hear from a person who is not a devotee of Krishna. We should just reject that hearing. You see, the Supreme Personality of Godhead spoke the Bhagavad Gita, and those 700 verses are recorded in the Bhagavad Gita, and we are distributing so many Bhagavad Gitas. ISKCON worldwide has taken a vow of distributing 3 million Gitas under the Live to Give campaign in this book marathon. Our center and its child extensions have taken a humble vow of distributing how many? 14
points.
No, we have taken 14,000 books only. It's a humble score compared to 30 lakh. And for the pleasure of all the devotees sitting here and those live, we have attained almost 50%, maybe till now. If not, we hope to attain 50% very soon, but near about 50%. And 66% of the marathon time is over. In the next 33% time, we have to do 50% more. So we should try very hard. So these Bhagavad Gitas, they have all these verses of Krishna, and there are so many people doing Gita Parayan everywhere. But we see very few people, after listening to this Gita Parayan, have a change of heart. Why? Because the Gita is not being chanted in the mood of service, in the mood of pure devotional approach. Even this reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, it should be done as a service. It has been seen that sometimes people become fanatics after reading Srila Prabhupada books also. That means they did not read it in the mood of service, they read it in the mood of scholarship or some agenda to be proven. It's like various people, they take the Vedic literature and I saw a photo once where two people are holding swords and on each sword it is written Prabhupada said this and on another sword Prabhupada said this. So people are fighting, Prabhupada said this, Prabhupada said this. That's going on, ego clash. Because they are hearing that Gita Parayan from the mouth of non-Vaishnavas. So therefore this Gita Parayan is not effective. The same Gita Parayan when done, Prabhupada is also chanting the Bhagavad Gita chapters, you can hear. When you hear those, life will change. So therefore, when Srila Prabhupada once went in a temple here and he saw that various devotees doing very nice Gita Parayan, he asked another question. Someone told him, I can recite the whole Gita in 3 hours, Srila Prabhupada asked him, can you live the Gita for 30 minutes? So living the Gita is more important. One has to understand and apply. So that is called as following in the footsteps of great Mahatmas. The Mahabharata says, Tarko Pratishtha Shrutiyo Vibhinna Nasa Vishiryasya Matam Na Bhinna Dharmasya Tattvam Nihitam Guhayam Mahajano Yena Gataha Sapantha. Simply by dry arguments, one cannot come to any conclusion. Everybody is trying to become a Muni by agitating their mind in a different direction on a particular subject matter compared to what has been done till now. But all these things will not help us to understand the Guhya Dharma. Raj Vidya Raj Guhyam Pavitram Midam Uttamam Pratyakshva. What is that? Pratyakshva Gamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Avyaya. So one has to realize these things by experience of the self. Personally, you have to experience it also. And it is very topmost and purest of all knowledges. You cannot understand that by anything else other than the process of Mahajano Yena Gataha Sapantha. It is very, very confidential. So this hearing is very, very important. Simply by hearing, one can come to the stage where one day they will be hearing from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as we see in the case of Mary. So in the Nectar of Instruction, Srila Prabhupada is talking about the importance of hearing. He says, in the neophyte stage, one should always engage in hearing Krishna Katha. This is called Shravan Dasha, the stage of hearing. Now please listen, what happens if you hear nicely? It is my desire to do hearing as an exclusive activity. We are not hearing some news or something. We should try to hear very attentively. So by constantly hearing the transcendental holy name of Krishna and hearing his transcendental form, qualities and pastimes, one can attain to the stage of acceptance, or called Varanadasha. That is called disciple. Disciple means who has surrendered to the Guru by the process of hearing. His Guru is asking him to do something and he is immediately ready to change himself. My dear disciple, you need to change yourself in this way, that way. Okay, I will do that. That is called Varanadasha. Now because he has heard very sincerely in the Shravanadasha and he has put his faith in the instructions of a bona fide spiritual master, then only he can follow. So those disciples who do not sufficiently hear their Shiksha, Diksha, Gurus and the Param Guru, Srila Prabhupada, they cannot follow what they are saying. Some disciples, they say, I don't find the lectures of my Guru Maharaj very interesting. I need to hear some glamorous speakers because they speak Rasa Tattva. And my Guru Maharaj is only speaking body, soul, and do this, do that, distribute books. My Param Guru is like he has got married only to this concept of body, soul, whatever. Even when he is passing away, performing his Antya Leela also. That time also he's telling, by the kind of association you take, according to that you get your next body. Everything in this world is moving by the supreme will of the Lord. This consciousness is called Krishna consciousness. My Param Guru is like that. My Guru, I need to hear sir, kuch naya batao bhai. Something new should be heard. How will I get interested? That is why I sleep in all the Bhagavatam classes, because nothing new is spoken. These are the people who have not yet started their Shravan Dasha also. So those who have crossed the Shravan Dasha, they will be in the Varan Dasha. They just need to hear once from their superiors. This needs to be done or this needs to be corrected, and they want to do it. And those who have reached the Varan Dasha, when one attains the stage of Varan Dasha, he becomes attached to the hearing of Krishna Katha. When one is able to chant in ecstasy, he attains the stage of Smaranavastha, or the stage of remembrance. When someone can remember the instructions of their spiritual master, when someone can remember how their spiritual master had glorified Guru and Krishna, and when one can spend a lifetime remembering and reflecting upon it, that is called as Smaranavastha. Like Srila Prabhupada told that all my temples, in the 10-mile radius of all my temples, nobody should go hungry. And if somebody is thinking about this point and trying to work upon it and doing it seriously, that is called Smaranavastha. So that is the importance of hearing. Simply by hearing from the right source in the right mood of service, one can one day hear the Supreme Personality of Godhead also. One can assimilate, in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.6, Srila Prabhupada says, one can assimilate the knowledge of revealed scriptures only by hearing, and then here he tells something more also. One can assimilate the knowledge of revealed scriptures only by hearing and then explaining. Hearing is called Shravana, explaining is called Kirtana. The two processes, Shravana and Kirtana, hearing and explaining, are of primary importance to progress in spiritual life. So not only one should just hear and keep quiet, but they should go out and explain. In one lecture, Srila Prabhupada says that if somebody sincerely hears about Guru and Krishna, they can't stop, they can't help but go out and speak about it. If somebody is not speaking about Krishna, if somebody is not glorifying Krishna, if somebody is not doing some endeavor to bring people or inspire people in the path of Krishna consciousness in some way or the other, then in the words of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they are Sandera Govar. They are the dung of a bull. See, the dung of a cow is useful also. The dung of a bull is useless. It cannot be used for anything. Even if you make a cake out of it and use it as a fuel for cooking, it gives only smoke and no heat. So those who are not hearing, and then my professor, I'm remembering one of the statements of my professor in college. He said that every half an hour of lecture which I give should result in 2 hours of discussion amongst yourselves. So that is the meaning of hearing and explaining. Hearing doesn't mean I heard a half an hour lecture and I spoke for half an hour. No, that is called parroting. Whatever I heard, I vomited. You just see, Brahmaji heard only 4 verses, the Chatushloki Bhagavata. But from that he expanded so much and told Narad Muni. And Narad Muni told this to Vyasdev, and Vyasdev from that he expanded so much. This is called Guru Shishya Parampara. This is called proper Shravana. Kirtanam should expand upon the Shravana. So, I was bringing or touching the subject matter that people are not hearing from the right source. There is so much crap in the multimedia, there is so much crap, even in books all around, that people hear from the wrong sources and they set the goal of their life wrongly because they are not hearing from the right sources. Simply by hearing from the right source, we see a person is hearing Krishna. So if we can somehow help them to hear nicely, then that is a great service to humanity and to Krishna. So one of the best ways to make people hear nicely is to distribute the books of Srila Prabhupada. Shravanam and Kirtan. So people will hear. When they will read, they will hear. And if they will hear, they will repeat. And by this process of Shravanam and Kirtanam, the whole world will change. And one day, the whole world will be chanting Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
This Shravanam Kirtanam is so powerful that it can bring down the biggest of isms, whether it is communism, Marxism, socialism, sectarianism, secularism. Whatever ism is there, it will be brought down by this Shravanam and Kirtanam. It will simply tear apart the body consciousness of people and it will bring them to the transcendental platform. So for that, book distributors should do proper Shravanam and Kirtanam. Wherever the attention is there, from there the energy is generated. Wherever attention goes, energy flows. So if our attention is there in Shravanam and Kirtanam, hearing the holy names, hearing the Bhagavatam, then from that we'll get a lot of energy, and using that spiritual energy, we can actually convince others to also hear. Sometimes when we go out for book distribution, people say, I have this Bhagavad Gita, I have this Krishna book. Then after that, what? Game over, conversation over, tata, bye bye. No, we have to tell them. Do you know about this, the Gita? Yesterday someone was telling me, I do not believe in religion. So immediately I opened that verse, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam. I said, Krishna also does not want you to believe in religion. He's telling you, give up all religions and surrender unto me. Acha, give me, show me. And then he took the Gita. But yeah, you don't believe in religion, it's all right there in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita also tells you, give up all your religion and just surrender to Krishna. So he said that, yes, I like this path. This means that under the guidance of our superiors, we have done some Shravanam and Kirtanam so that we are able to convince people to take books according to their state of existence. So Shravanam and Kirtanam is very important. And this book distribution is very, very important. I've been trying to speak about this book distribution in whichever opportunities I get. Today I would like to speak some experiences which I have been recently having. This experience is core and explore. While book distribution is an activity, 80% of investment of energy and resources should be given to those strategies which are already working. But 20%, 80% should go to the core, but 20% should be exploration mode. Things which I have not tried, something which is new, some area which is unexplored, we should keep trying it. So that helps us to maintain a transcendental consciousness. Like Harikshit Prabhu was telling that sometimes in our practice of Krishna consciousness, this karma and jnana, they infiltrate. Sometimes even when things become little same and monotonous, every day I'm just going and distributing. So, because we are not at a platform to fully relish this process of Sankirtan, and because the mind always wants something new, so it is good to follow this strategy, core and explore. Focus 80% on things which are already working, but every day try focus 20% of the energy on something which is new. That brings in new spiritual oxygen and new melodrama and new enthusiasm in the team. And of course, when you are doing this, keep the bar low. And in this way, we can hope and pray that we can assist Srila Prabhupada in his mission when he is praying in the Jalduta prayers. That please make make my power of speaking such so that they can accept this transcendental message of Vasudeva. So as book distributors, we are assistants to Srila Prabhupada in his Jaladuta prayer. He wants the whole world to listen to him. Because he is praying to Krishna that you make my power of speech favorable so that people can listen and change of heart can happen. So we are trying to make the whole world to listen to Srila Prabhupada. And then we are encouraging people that whatever you have heard, you please go on and talk more about it. And one day, if we are doing it nicely, then one day we will also be able to surpass the Shravan Dasha, come to the Varana Dasha, and then ultimately the Smaranavastha. And one day we will also be chanting Hare Krishna and actually be seeing Krishna face to face and hearing from him. Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Any questions or comments? Reflections? Yes.
Questions, a clarification. So generally you've seen in marriages, like this is South India, which I have seen. So generally they get their wife on the left side, not on the right side.
So like in Tamil Nadu they put on right, in Andhra Pradesh they put on left.
In Tamil Nadu, they put the wife on right, and in Andhra Pradesh, they put the wife on left. The Vedic literature says that you have to keep the wife on the right. That is a strong statement that I am not the enjoyer of my wife. Putting the wife on left means like, yes, she is my property and I am going to enjoy her. This is my understanding. I was once seeing an initiation ceremony at ISKCON. It was being led by His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj, who is a very sincere follower of Vaishnav Siddhant and Vaishnav Sadachar. So two of his aspiring disciples, husband and wife, they came to take initiation from him. I don't know whether they were from Andhra or Tamil Nadu, but the wife was sitting on left. So immediately Maharaj scolded them, "Come on this side. You're coming to take initiation, you don't even know basics. Come on this side." So the wife sat on the right hand side and then they got initiated. Maharaj yena gata sapantha. So because Maharaj is doing it, so that is the correct thing. And everywhere where this is not happening, it is incorrect. This is my understanding from Srimad Bhagavatam Purana. Yes.
Regarding to this book distribution, you told like 80% is like old and 20% is for a new.
Explore.
That
Yeah.
New explore. That can you give an example of this to 20% of new explore?
That is,
You have-
see, that is varying. The question is what new things we should do in 20%. Unlimited. Based on the team strength you have, based on the area where you are going, based on the kind of people which are coming with you, based on the number of Matajis you have, based on the number of Prabhujis you have, based on the number of children you have. You have to everyday plan something. That today let's try this. For example, one thing which we are trying new, we are going to a place which is a traffic signal. We have made the traffic signal our home. But next to the traffic signal, we have some malls. So one thing which we are trying is we are sending Matajis to all the shops in the malls. And they are going and talking along with their children that would you like to keep some books. And many shops like cycle shops, sport shops, and I think one gym also, they took some Bhagavad Gitas. Okay, give me 5 copies, 10 copies. So we didn't know that simply by asking people are ready to take. One mobile repair shop also took, give me 5 copies. So we explored something. Now we are getting more ideas that how to do it at a bigger scale. Another new exploration which we have done is we are trying to distribute some books, and everybody whom we meet, we are asking them, do you know the mantra? And then we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with them. And after chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with them, if they seem to be favorable, then we ask them that, see, we have taken a vow. We tell them our spiritual vow. Our vow is to distribute 5,000 books. Can you help us in some way? This is something which we didn't try earlier. And to our surprise, people are willing to help. They are taking our numbers, they are calling back. And they are telling, okay, I need another 20 Gitas. I have this annual function in my company, I need to distribute books there. This we didn't try. Earlier we used to just distribute books and leave it. But now we see it is working. Just few things. Every day it should be shared. These kind of realizations should be shared. This is working, that is working, this is working. But 80% focus should be there on that which already is working. So when we hear such new things happening, and then we feel excited to go every day, and then there is an element of surprise. Like yesterday, there was something new which we did. We tried to celebrate the birthday of one of the book distributors on the street on the traffic signal. So we were chanting Hare Krishna very nicely with Karpal, nicely having samosas, cakes. People got attracted. They also came and stood. And after the birthday distribution, they took the books. And when we celebrate the birthday on together on street while doing seva, it's a completely different experience. So a few things I'm just sharing. Yes.
Actually, Shravanam Kirtan.
Yes.
Shravanam means we are chanting.
Shravanam means chanting. Shravanam means book reading also.
Yeah.
Because when you read the book, you are hearing from Prabhupada. Shravanam means hearing your own chanting also, listening from senior devotees, listening from Prabhupada, reading the books, everything is Shravanam.
Kirtan is then the same.
Kirtana means singing the holy names of the Lord, or whatever you are reading, going and explaining to others. That's also Kirtan.
Sometimes we are explaining them, so we don't know proper idea of that.
That means Shravanam you have to do properly.
Shravanam.
Once Srila Prabhupada was asked that how you became such a powerful speaker. Srila Prabhupada said, because I have heard nicely. So only those who hear nicely, they can repeat it nicely. The power comes with repetition. I can give you one example. There are many Gita course instructors here. I mean, there are very nice Gita course instructors also. And they all will vouch for this fact that Gita courses and other courses are working because they are repeating what they have heard from the original source. So this repetition gives power. When you repeat, then the mood becomes that of a service while speaking. That yes, you have heard something, you are trying to repeat, and that mood of service is very pleasing to Krishna. So in that mood, when you repeat, it pierces the heart of people. They become Krishna conscious. So proper Shravanam leads to proper Kirtanam. And vice versa is not true. It is not that by speaking, you will understand the subject matter. No. First Shravanam, then when you explain, then by the mercy of Krishna you will understand. Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you very much. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Hare Krishna.